right, 2-4, okay? Solving equations for y day 1. We're going to do 2 days of this. Well, you guys are going to do the second day when you get back from lunch. Okay, literal equation. All right, a literal equation. There's probably a long definition that I could come up with this, but to make it short, sweet, and easy for you to understand, it's going to be an equation with more than one variable. An equation with more than one variable. Okay, so if you look at these, make sure you're writing with me. Ethan, make sure you're writing with me. Did you write this? Okay. Okay. So today, if you look at our problems, what's different about today?
More than just X.
Yes, there's more than just X. Today we've got X and Y. Okay, so before today, you guys solved equations, and what would your answer look like when
X
solving?
equals,
X equals one number, right? X equals one number. Today, we won't be able to get one variable equals one number, okay, because we've got multiple variables. So our answers are going to look a little bit different today, all right? We're going to be solving our equation for y, so it's going to look like y equals mx plus b. It's going to look like that. Now, we're not going to be talking about y equals mx plus b, but that's what our answers are going to look like. Because I'm going to have an x, I might have a number in front of the x, and then we're going to have a random number on the end, just like this equation, okay? All right, so I want to solve each equation for y. So if I'm solving for y, I'm really getting y by itself. So draw your line. Okay, we're going to be solving for y. So I need to get everything away from the y. What's being added or subtracted to this y? The x. Is this x positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. So I need to subtract x, do its opposite to each side to get rid of it. So now I've got x minus x, which would give me what?
Cancel.
0. They cancel each other out. And I'm left with negative y equals. Now, what do we think? Can I do 6 minus 1x equals 5x?
No,
Why not?
they're not like terms.
They're not like terms. One has an x, one does not. So I cannot combine those. So because I cannot combine those, I'm going to write them side by side. And I always write the x first. Is y by itself?
Yes.
No.
Is it by itself?
Yes.
On one side of it, it is.
What do you mean one side of it?
On the one side of the equation,
Y is by itself?
Well, no, it has a
Oh,
negative
no,
sign.
It's got a negative sign. What does negative mean? Negative 1. So is y by itself?
No.
No, because it's got a negative out there. Okay? So what's happening between this negative 1 and y? Multiplying. What do I need to do? I need to divide to get rid of the negative 1. So I'm going to draw my fraction bar, negative 1. Now, this is different. If I divide by negative 1 here, I have to divide everything by negative 1. Okay, so we got to divide everything by negative 1. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is 1. So it's y equals, because now it's just 1y, and I don't have to write the 1. Okay, now this is negative 1x divided by negative 1.
X.
Gives me just x, because it would really be 1x, but I don't have to write the 1. And then 6 divided by negative 1 is negative 6. Now is y by itself?
Yes.
Yes. And there's my answer. Does this look like y equals mx plus b?
No.
Yes, it does. It is. Okay.
Now
Now we're not, yes, it doesn't have an m in front of it. The m would be 1. Now we're not graphing with y equals mx plus b, but this is what your answer looks like. It looks like this. Okay? Okay, number 2. All right. Draw your line on number 2. What are we solving for?
Why?
Y. So I want to get everything away from the Y. So what do I need to move first?
The S, or, yeah,
The X, the 3X. How do I get rid of a positive 3X?
the negative.
Minus.
Minus.
Negative or minus, same thing. Okay, minus 3X, and what I do to one side, got to do to the other. Okay, 3X minus 3X
Zero.
cancels. Yep, 0. Get rid of all of it. And I'm left with negative 3Y equals. Can I say 12 minus 3 is 9?
No.
No, because they're not like terms. This has an X, this one does not. I cannot combine those. So I'm just going to write them side by side, and I'm going to put my X first. Is Y by itself?
No.
No. How do I get rid of that negative 3?
Divide.
Divide by negative 3, and if I divide one thing by negative 3, I got to do it to everything. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 gives me 1. 1Y, and I don't have to write the 1.
Just
Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1x, but I don't have to write the 1. 12 divided by negative 3, negative 4. Y is by itself, so that's my answer. Okay, number 3. Draw your line. What am I solving for?
Why?
Y. So what do I need to get rid of first? The negative 2x. Okay, that's being added. How do I get rid of negative 2x?
Put a positive.
Plus 2x. Negative 2x plus 2x is 0. They cancel out, and I'm left with 5y equals. Shh. Can I say negative 10 plus 2? No, they're not like terms, so I have to write them side by side.
Side by side.
Is y by itself?
No.
Nope, it's got this 5. What operation is happening?
Division.
This is multiplying. This is multiplying. They're touching with no symbols, so what do? Divide by,
5.
and if I divide one thing by 5, I divide
Oh.
everything. All things. 5 divided by 5 is 1y, but I don't write the 1.
Wouldn't you be subtracting the 5?
No, because these are multiplying. So I have to divide. If it was 5 plus y, then I would subtract, but it's not. Okay, 2 divided by 5 gives me 2 over 5. Or I could put a decimal, but because it's what, I'll explain it in a second. Okay, so just put 2 over 5, x. Keep it as a fraction for right now. I'll explain it in a second. Then I've got negative 10 over 5.
Two.
Good. Negative 2, so minus 2. Is y by itself? Yes. Okay, now let me explain why I told you to keep it as a fraction. Because what did I say this is really like? Y equals mx plus b. And what's m stand for?
Slope.
Slope. And how do we have to write slope?
Fraction.
As a fraction, because it's rise over run. Okay. If you do the decimal, you won't be able to do rise over run. And when you do equations like this, you keep it as fractions. Okay? Does everybody understand?
Yeah.
Like I said, we're not doing rise over run or graphing or anything today, but I want you to get in the habit of keeping it as a decimal. Okay? Or not keeping it as a decimal, sorry. I want you to get in the habit of keeping it as a fraction, because that's what we're going to do for the rest of the year. Okay, number 4. Draw your line. What am I solving for?
Why?
Y. So what do I need to get rid of? How do I get rid of a positive x? Minus x. on both sides. X minus x is 0, and I'm left with 4y equals, how do I have to write this on this side?
Negative x plus 6.
Perfect, negative x plus 6, very good. Is y by itself?
No.
No.
What do I do?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4, and if I divide one thing by 4, I divide
Oh,
everything. 4 over 4 gives me
why?
1. 1y, but I don't write the 1. Okay, now look here. This is different. What number's in front of the x?
1.
A negative 1. Negative 1 divided by 4 would be what?
Negative 4. Negative 1.
Oh.
Negative 1 divided by 4 gives me negative 1 over 4. It's a fraction, so we're going to keep it as a fraction. Negative 1 over 4, and then I write the x after. Okay, then I've got 6 divided by 4,
3 over 2.
which gives me 3 over 2. And we always want to write the most reduced answer, so positive 3 over 2. Is y by itself?
Yes.
Yep, that's my answer. Okay, tape these in, and then I'm going to come around with your practice.